There is no coverage of the student strike in English Canada until there's violence. Zero. There has been zero coverage of the student strike, the biggest social movement that we've seen, not only in Quebec, but in Canada, in decades and decades, if not ever. And it's wonderful, this student strike. It's brilliantly led. It's, you know, social movements is my expertise. I've never seen anything like this in Canada or Quebec. And yet there's no coverage of it. Absolutely no coverage until they smash up the minister's office. Then we have this very serious article in the Globe and Mail about how the strike's gone bad and blah, blah, blah. Myself, I'd like to see more journalists take risks. That's what I'd like to see. And at the beginning of Occupy, we saw that. At the beginning of Occupy, particularly in the States, but also in Canada, you know, I would be getting calls from young journalists who were saying, I can't sell this story to my newsroom. Can you help me sell it, right? I want to see more of that. I think we're going into a period where we're going to have a lot of we're having a lot of social struggle. The reoccupations are going to happen in May. There's going to be big actions May Day. I'd like to see more coverage in the mainstream press, and I think for that to happen, some journalists, and particularly young journalists, are going to have to take some risks to cover it, and I'd like to see that.
And what we see is this erosion in the public discourse of the sort of middle ground, I guess, where you can actually have a discussion around policy options, because the way that I've seen the debate framed in especially the Anglophone media is of a dualistic nature. It's framed as a generation war, and this is something that we've seen a lot of evidence of, particularly in more conservative outlets, this idea that we have to think of the conflict in terms of a struggle between one generation and the other, or that it's a debate of right or left-wing ideology. And there are, in fact, I think, policy options in the middle there that answer the question of, if not this, then what? But we don't hear very much about that because we're so busy talking about vandals versus good students who want to go to class, or boomers versus Gen Y, or you know, these radical lefties versus the state or the establishment. And I think that that's a simplified view, but maybe that's what's easiest, I guess, on limited resources to come up with on deadline. So I'll just say that I think it's another example of the kind of deterioration of the public conversation.